My name's Isaac Rosner, and this is DIY Speed. Folks, if you saw the video in the intro, you know that I bought this burnout truck. So this thing was total steal. I got it for $1,000. It doesn't get better than that. No check engine light and a clean New York State title. I drove it here. I parked it. I did zero inspection on the vehicle. We have to do that still. I'm sure it's rusty. Just to put into perspective, the rust bubbling starts and goes all the way down. A little bit more weight reduction in here. You see, all of this is aerodynamics. That's what it is. We're just, you know, saving on the weight so we can do a better burnout with it. It's got a 6-liter 4L80, like a good 2500 should.
Where's the exhaust?
Same as the Tahoe, right over there on the other side. Look at this interior, dude.
Don't show this, and it's mint.
It showed that in mint.
Fine.
This was an old man's truck. My understanding of it, it was an old dude that
How many
owned
miles?
this thing. 140,000.
All right. Well, yeah, it has trailer brakes.
Because it started this morning.
Oh. Quiet. Very quiet, honestly.
The basic.
Change engine oil.
I love the cab lights on this thing. Check this out. Check out the front. It's a cat eye. So it's got the optional roof lights up there, which are dope. It's got brand new lenses up front.
Oh, dude. She's actually nice.
Yeah, it's really clean.
Besides
It's almost
for the rust.
too clean.
Besides for the rust.
Besides for the rust. So I did one small burnout with this from a stop sign just to see if it would chirp the tires. This thing just burns the tires. Well, guys, if you saw the intro, you know that we have some cool stuff planned. But if you didn't see the intro, we have some cool stuff planned. I also have some lesser, not as cool stuff, but to me this is very cool. I'm gonna re-epoxy the floors here in the shop because of how the first time panned out not very well. Apparently using white wasn't the best idea, folks. Hey, if you take a look around, because there's more stuff on the screen than myself, you will see that this is as clean as this place will ever be. And as is known, as is becoming of, as is expected from someone of my lack of caliber, we are going to do the absolute smallest amount of preparation we can for this epoxy to go down, simply for the fact that we're tired. All right, guys, I'm going to make this quick because the fumes are strong. 3/4 of the shop, or 2/3 of the shop rather, are done with the new gray flooring. I'll be honest, I don't like it as much as I liked the white when it went down because the white popped so nicely, but this is going to be much better. So I'm going to let this portion dry before I go any further. Plus the fumes are strong. I want to get out of here. And this is basically got to about an hour's worth of painting. Threw down some speckle already. Maybe that was a little premature, but you could always just put more epoxy over it, right?
Professionalism. And then you have spots like this.
Not so professionalism.
Whoop. Spots like this. Not so professionalism. Or right over here. Not so professionalism. But the best one, not so professionalism,
Is the whole half that's unfinished?
well, forget about that.
Look at this magnificence.
I was thinking about this one.
Look at the brilliance. Yes, it's also a fly catcher. It's all right. It's a little messed up over here. We're gonna have to go do touch-up. There's no question. It's gonna need extra paint in this area, which, I mean, it's cool we put flake down, but that's gonna get covered up. So like...
But I'm not that mad about it because there's so much flake over here.
Right.
We have spots like this, same. There's so much flake over here. I'm not too mad about it if this gets covered again.
Super grippy though. Super grippy. Ah, yeah, this is great. So it's probably going to take 1.5 gallons. So I need to be prepared. I need to actually first mix 1 gallon to do the touch-ups on this side, and then I'm going to paint this whole side. Because that extra 1/2 gallon, this stuff's $120 something a gallon, guys. This isn't cheap. So I'm going to try and save on it by kind of doing things the wrong way, which is what you're seeing right now, which is totally fine. But also, you know, when you do things the wrong way, you don't get the best quality. That being said, I wasn't looking for the best quality. I was just looking for better than what I had. So the $480 plus tax that I spent on epoxy, thank you Grand Paint for sponsoring today's video, even though I paid for it. All right, so we're adjusting this to try and make it level. And at some point, Chaim pointed out that the whole thing might not be level, so we went and got a measurer or a leveler and threw it on there, and you could see that this is slightly bent inwards. And well, I went and got a 1-inch and I put it on this first one, and she moved a little too much there, bud. I don't recall, I don't know how it's possible this would have gotten loose other than the tether possibly pulling out of the concrete. But I'm going to do my best to just tighten this down now and check all of them. See if maybe this wasn't done. I sure hope it was. I mean, that'd be kind of crazy if this is...
We've had quite a few vehicles on here.
Right, maybe they just worked themselves loose with so many vehicles on it. So we'll just move on to the next one. Also hand tight. That's really, really cool to see. Wow. So that might be the issue with this thing, is it got loose. And the water pooling here is probably not beneficial.
Oh, let me put the camera down for a minute. We good.
Seems fine.
So what is more sketchy, the Firebird or this?
Firebird. Way more sketchy than this. The Firebird broke in half up on this lift. This isn't going to break in half. I'm more worried about the lift failing on this truck. All right, I'm going to bring it up like another feet. Just watch that. Like, just watch the angle, see if it starts to give, because I'll try to send it back down. If it starts to move and we got to send it down, you have to pull that red thing without getting crushed and before it's too late. All right, glad we had this talk. Is that side locking?
Yep.
Okay. This is the official walk around of my first burnout truck. That'll do a burnout, hopefully, at Cletus and Cars at Stafford Springs Motor Speedway. I think it's called the Stafford 900. Anyways, so I bought this truck. It's a 2004 2500 HD out of New York State. I actually bought it here in Connecticut, but it came from New York State. It is super rusty. Like I mentioned, weight reduction in mass. I mean, this thing is just absolutely rusty and crusty. However, it runs great. It's only got 140,000 miles on it, and I think it's going to be the perfect burnout truck. And for $1,000, how could you say no? All right, cameraman, we are good to go.
Are we going
No,
DOT?
don't take away what's left because this is all structural at this point. You can see somebody's trying to, you're going to notice this vehicle is filled with foam.
I had to do it once.
Oh, you brought it with you? Okay. All right, guys, this is going to be a poke test. That's basically what this has turned out to. So, like, you know, she's a little, oh, no way. I don't want to have to clean all this. This is not going to be a poke test because we're still in the middle of doing the floors. And I already made a mess on this portion that I'm going to have to clean. So, no, we're not going to do a poke test. And you don't need it. You just got to see there's big holes of rust here, folks. Big holes of rust. All right, so this is not being used. But if we go ahead and take a look, I mean, let's just look at the body before we look underneath. The front end is just spotless on this thing. I mean, it's just absolutely perfect. I mean, it's only smashed a little bit, but the Lund bug visor is still good, and this is all in great shape.
Is this an aftermarket grill?
No. That
That's
looks
stock?
factory. That looks factory. These are aftermarket replacements. The plastics look good. A lot of good parts on this truck, a lot of bad parts, a lot of rust also up in here. I don't see any foam. Oh, we noticed this looking at it the other day because we've had it for a few hours now. If you could get your light in there, those are slotted and drilled.
Yep. Yeah, the battery.
So somebody bought the best you could get at AutoZone. The rears, they're rough, brother. It's got some rough rotors in there. Bed's rusted out. You can tell because the way it is, you know, you just see that it's rusted out. The frame is still relatively solid. I don't see anything wrong with that. Moving to the rear of the truck. Well, the tailgate lost its ass. So that's gone. And everything else is here. It's got the tow package on it. This was used for towing because...
Yeah, it doesn't have the tow package on it anymore.
Yeah, it does. That's electrical grease, bro. That's a perfectly good
fine.
connection. Damn.
It
Rookie right there, bud.
It looked like super glue to me.
Dielectric grease. You got to go underneath the truck and have a look at this shock here. You see, this is one of those Bluetooth mounted shocks. So, folks, it's rusty, okay? Bluetooth mounted. I should send a picture to my buddy that's in his truck.
Where's the other one?
There is no other shock on it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there is. It's forward.
Yeah, they're staggered like that. It's a good thing that they switched over to plastic tanks because at least those don't rot out. That still looks fine. And it's got a little guard to it. That's pretty cool. It's got a ratchet strap holding it in. You know that's factory. That's good right there. You don't need to worry about that. All right.
Well, what's this cable? Is that the e-brake?
The e-brake hanging down, correct. Yeah, that's the e-brake cable. And then this cross member is completely rotted out. Like,
What cross member?
Completely
What
rotted
cross
out.
member?
You could say that, but it's completely rotted out. The exhaust, aftermarket, not stock. You could tell because of the way it is. Though that is a stock muffler, but they just put the stock muffler back on it. Body mounts are still here. Dude,
That oil filter doesn't look too old.
No, dude, this thing's fucking mint. Well, this thing's been pretty taken care of aside from the fact it was in the rust belt. So it is trashed, but it's still a nice truck. So
But here's the thing. The frame looks solid.
frame looks serviceable. You know, it might have it might have gone from a 3/4 ton to a 1/2 ton. Or maybe, you know, what's in between 3/4 and a half? Maybe it turned into like a 5/8 or something, you know? It's not quite a 3/4, it's a 5/8 truck now. Welcome to Mexico. You can tell because of the way it is. I feel like I'm gonna have a hard time getting out of here with this car here, so I'm gonna make it right. One of the places, we're gonna do some driving. Time to do some sketchy shit. Do-da, do-da.
We have nothing left to do.
You know, guys, well, the burnout ability test in Mexico was such a smashing success that, well, you imagine that thing with a little bit of nitrous, like a quick 150 shot, just to help her off the line, you know? So, a couple of things we learned there. It'll do a great burnout. Definitely do a great burnout. But it's not a posi rear end. So, probably going to have to weld the rear end into one piece and kind of ruin it, but it's okay. Those rear ends are only like $250. So it needs posi, it needs 150 shot of nitrous, and it needs better exhaust because right now it's going through stock muffler. Yeah, there's some G40s or whatever, GT40s. I don't know. There's some MagnaFlows up on the shelf we could throw on it. We could also just straight pipe it because it is a burnout truck.
I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, for $1,000, you can't go wrong. So I'm going to spend about $680 on the nitrous kit. Get a 15-pound bottle so we can do some pulls. And
4-wheel drive pull?
I think it'll do a 4-wheel drive burnout. If we tie it, well, we'll have to tie it to a tree, but we could get it to do that. Maybe we'll tie it to a tree with a big chain, put some nitrous, and send her in 4-wheel drive, see what happens. I don't know. The world is our oyster, guys, so we can do whatever we want, however we want it. Well, remember, this is DIY Speed. All this stuff is homegrown. You're watching me learn a lot of this stuff for the first time. You're watching me do some stuff and getting a little bit better at it. I think that was a good purchase. It ran perfectly. Had no problem doing the burnout. The transmission is mint on it, and it runs great. So I'm very happy with that purchase. I actually bought it and then put it on Marketplace to see if I could resell it, and I got like 200 messages on it. I'm going to pull that thing off of Marketplace because I'm keeping it. And that's going to be our burnout truck. Now, it has a name, but I'm not going to reveal the name just yet. So stay tuned for the next episode. I'll see you next week on DIY Speed. You're going to find out the name of this burnout truck.